Okay.
And Bobby, I do have a few, just little cutouts from the frequently asked questions. If you need me to put those on screen, just kind of remind me and I'll throw them up there.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Otherwise, I may just kind of sit back and stay on mute unless y'all need anything from me. Just let me know.
Are we ready, Jeff?
We're up and going when y'all are ready.
Okay, yeah, I forgot the trash was delivering this week.
We are streaming and ready to roll when y'all are.
Ooh. Dominique, have y'all shared it yet?
Let's see. I think they were going to share it right at 7.
Okay, cool. We'll just wait there.
Gotta make sure.
Dominique, have you?
All right, they're good.
Okay. All right.
All right, they're good. All right, they're good.
Okay, I think
All right. You ready, Jeff?
everybody's on and ready to roll. Whenever y'all are ready, we should be streaming live now.
Great, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Jackson, and I want to welcome everybody to the Caddo Parish information session for rental assistance program. I'm also the chair of the Pandemic and Natural Resources Committee. I want to first thank Commissioner Lyndon Johnson, who's our parish commission president, for appointing me to this particular task and the work that our parish administration has done behind the scenes, working with the Housing Authority and our community partners, who I'm sure we'll go into detail about those community partners later. but Grace CDC, Northwest Louisiana CDC, Catholic Charities, Providence House, and United Way of Northwest Louisiana, the work all of them have done behind the scenes to get this program together. I know how important it is, this program will be, and how many families will be helped. In the upcoming conversations that we're going to have today, you'll hear more about who qualifies for the program, what the program pays for, when applications are open, and how the selection process works. Other valuable information, and I hope that it will serve to add stability into the lives of so many Caddo Parish residents who have been impacted over the last year by the COVID-19 pandemic. This program, the Caddo Emergency Rental Assistance Program, has been constructed and has been put together to help you, the citizens. And I'd like to thank, again, I'd like to thank the team on the Caddo Parish staff, the community partners, the U.S. Treasury Program, our federal delegation for supporting it, the Caddo Parish Commissioners who have band together to support this program. I also want to thank, special thanks to our clerk, Jeff Everson, who is behind the scenes coordinating today as well. And at this time, I would like to welcome Ms. Dominique Ben, award-winning anchor at KSLA News 12, who is going to moderate the conversation today with Mr. Bobby R. Collins, who is a good friend, great friend at the Shreveport Bossier Housing Authority. So we want to thank them for their time this evening. And we'll start with Ms. Dominique Ben, and I'll turn it over to you all, and we'll come back at the very end for some closing comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson, and good evening to all of you that are joining in on the live stream this evening. Many thanks to you, Commissioner Jackson, for your leadership efforts in all of this. I want to welcome all of you again for tuning in to learn more about the Caddo Parish Emergency Rental Assistance Program, also known as ERAP. I'm Dominique, bring you greetings from KSLA News 12. Honored to be here to be a part of this discussion, to moderate this discussion, to find out more about what is ERAP, who it is for, what it pays for, how you can apply, and how recipients are selected, and what is paid for, among other details. Before we get to Mr. Collins, Commissioner Jackson, I know that you know as well as we do here in the newsroom that we are getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of messages and emails coming into our newsroom every single day regarding rental assistance or some type of assistance because of the pandemic. So many people are out of jobs, and they just don't really know whether they're going to have a roof over their head. What are you hearing from our Caddo Parish constituents, Commissioner Jackson, about the need for programs like this before we get to Mr. Collins?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's not a day that goes by that I don't hear or get a call from a concerned constituent about how are we doing at the local level, because they remind us that although the vaccination has rolled out and things, there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's still some sort of, I guess you could say, aftershock or damages left behind that this pandemic has caused. And rental assistance is one, employment is one. And so we're always working at the parish to help do what we can in a meaningful way to help support this community. So without these dollars, without these resources, we wouldn't be able to do this. That food box distribution that we did this weekend, the smiles on citizens' faces, the thank you. One lady, she came through and said, the good Lord stepped in right on time because I sure needed this box today. And, they're just so humbled to receive this support. And so that's why it's important to do things like this.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. I think, there's one saying that I always say is that so many people are just one step or one paycheck away from being homeless or not having shelter or not having food and having to rely on programs like this. And here to tell us more about this Caddo Parish Emergency Rental Assistance Program, the CEO of the Shreveport Housing Authority will serve as the program administrator for the program. And good evening to you, Mr. Collins. Bobby Collins, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dominique. First, I want to say what an awesome job the Caddo Parish Commission has done in securing these funds to help those in need. Particularly, thank you, Commissioner Jackson, for taking point on this issue. Commissioner Jackson and I have a passion. He has a heart for people who need a hand up, and so I appreciate that. The Shreveport Housing Authority is fortunate to have the opportunity to play a part in many great partnerships and direct efforts to improve the quality and availability of housing in the Shreveport area, particularly for those residents whose stability is threatened. We are glad to partner with Caddo Parish to administer this program and work with all of the 5 local nonprofits that have volunteered themselves to get this program out to those whose housing situation has been threatened or even worsened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm gonna tell you something we know firsthand here at the Housing Authority. We're going to office today and we get a call from a landlord, resident through no fault of their own, $3,000 behind on rent, nothing they can do, affected by COVID. So this, when I heard about this, it was just a breath of fresh air because I know the need out there. So this is going to be really awesome for the whole community.
All right, so Mr. Collins, basically tell us what the Caddo ERAP program, what it is, first of all, and who it will help. You know, a lot of times we're getting calls into our newsroom from renters saying, my landlord is putting me out. I don't know if we can discuss the legality of that, or, you know, when landlords can make that move, or, you know, we were under a moratorium at one point. I think it's been extended federally. So I don't know if you want to get into that.
Yeah, look, great news about that. The CDC has extended that moratorium for another 90 days through June 30th. So I will say this, anybody that would qualify for this assistance would qualify for that moratorium. It's just a form you have to fill out and get to your landlord. And so anybody in the community, Caddo Parish, Housing Authority, or any of these nonprofits, if you ask, we can help you, but you just fill out that form and you get that to your landlord, and that qualifies you for that moratorium for another 90 days. So that's a welcome. So, and just to kind of walk into the Caddo Parish Emergency Rental Assistance Program, it's designed to help renters who were financially impacted by the pandemic. It'll help pay rental costs going back to April 2020 and up to 3 months in advance. And also for your electricity bills, 3 months that are past due and current. It includes costs like late fees, additional costs, and late fees will have limitations. Additional costs on the lease, for example, storage fees or garbage fees that are included in the lease, utilities that are included in the lease, or any other charges. Now, it doesn't cover any damages done by a tenant, so it'll have to be affiliated solely with rent. If someone has, you know, any questions about the program, the number to call, which we're going to put that up, is 226-6598. That's going to be from 8 to 4:30 every day, and it will be set up to receive VRS calls for anybody that has a hearing impairment or any other disability. So we'll be able to accommodate that.
Okay, so Mr. Collins, so for example, let me just role play here.
Sure.
If I am a renter and I qualify and I fill out the application and everything, how much in all is covered? Is it the 3 months rent plus utilities? Is it only rent? Is it some utilities? How do you work that formula?
Well, the way it's set is that if you have up to 12 months in arrears back to April 2020, that can be covered if you qualify, and up to 3 months in advance. And on utilities, up to 3 months in arrears. So if you have late fees and those kind of things associated with that, again, there's a cap. And I think you're talking about $150 now, but not an exorbitant amount, because we don't want any landlords to take advantage of this program. We want to make sure that we're treating everybody fairly. We understand that those landlords have suffered and they do have, you know, maintenance costs that they haven't been able to meet, insurance costs, mortgage costs, et cetera. So we want to make sure they're made whole, but it'd be fair with everybody.
Okay, so let me just calculate this really quick. So if someone qualifies, they would qualify for at least up to 18 months. Well, you know, 12 months in the rears, 3 months in advance, and then the 3 months in utility. So that's 18 months taken care of if they qualify. Is that correct?
And that is a max by the Treasury. So that would be a max, but it depends on what you can illustrate your need is.
Okay, let's talk about that next. Who qualifies for the program? What makes it eligible for the program?
Sure. To answer that question, the rental households must have an income below 80% of AMI. And we'll display a chart on the website. So we have just a few examples. Just say that you're an eligible single person and you need to have an income of less than $31,750, or a family of 4 we need to make less than $45,350. But in addition to meeting the income requirement, there are other requirements that must be met. First, which is that one or more members of the household must have either qualified for unemployment benefits or, or certified that they've had benefits, or certified that they have less income, more bills, or financial hardship due to COVID-19. The next requirement is going to be that at least one member of the household, they must demonstrate that they're at risk of experiencing homelessness. Their situation is uncertain. You can illustrate this by a past due utility bill, rent notice, an eviction notice, etc. You can also qualify by illustrating that you live in an unsafe or unhealthy housing condition. Now, I should remind folks that the Caddo Emergency Rental System Program, this may be obvious, but it's for Caddo Parish renters. And so you'll need to be a Caddo Parish resident. And you can't have any homeownership interest. It's solely for renters.
Okay, also, let's go back also to if you receive a federal subsidy. So say you live in public housing, only what you are responsible for is what will be matched. Is that correct? So, if the government subsidizes a portion of that, that's going to be taken care of. You don't have to worry about.
Most certainly. If you have a housing choice voucher or you live in a public housing program, your portion of the rent is eligible, but only your portion of the rent would be eligible.
All right. So if someone thinks they're eligible, they're on this recording right now on live stream, or we'll watch it a little bit later, what are the steps that they should make? I know that we've been putting up a number, possibly an email address. Is the next step just coming down to the office or going online and filling out an application?
Okay, so if you feel you're eligible, all you have to do is go to the website, and that's caddo.covidrenthelp, which is right there. Thank you, covidrenthelp.org. You go to that website, or you can call one of the nonprofits that are up here that will assist you if you don't have. Now, this is for anybody. If you have a cell phone, tablet, computer, any internet access, you can go to this website and you can apply. Now, once you apply, you put your information in. There's going to be some information that will be required later to support whatever you put in your application. But that's all you have to do is go to that website and put your information in and apply. And it will walk you through everything. There have some frequently asked questions that are easily walked through. And also there's a video in there. Just click it, how to apply, and it'll play and it'll walk you through the whole entire process.
All right, so all morning long for the past 2 days on KSLA News 12, we've been mentioning how tomorrow is the big day that it's going to open up the application process. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you can go in and you can fill out your application. And the thing is, it's a random draw process, and that's really designed because some folks don't have immediate access to the internet. So we want to make sure we didn't disadvantage those folks who might have to go to one of the nonprofits and get assistance in applying. So it's a random access. So it won't be first come. So if you need to get assistance and you a few days applying, it won't put you at the bottom of the list. It's a random draw for eligibility. And that first draw will be done April 14th on a Wednesday. And it'll be a draw every Wednesday after that until September 30th or until the funds are exhausted.
Okay. How much do we have in funds from the government?
We have, I think it's like seven. Mr. Jackson, you happen to know that number exactly? I think it's like 7.8 of them.
Yeah, it's probably about 7.8 directly from the U.S. Treasury, and then there's another pot of money, I think, that y'all may talk about, the LREAP program later on. That's about $8 million. So in total, the parish has probably about $15 million, but there are two categories of dollars.
Okay, so that's a good chunk of change. But Mr. Collins, you were mentioning how people need to go on and fill out the application online. You may have mentioned this before. I know a lot of elderly people or our senior citizens or golden vessels, they don't have access a lot of times to online, like COVID vaccines. And so is there an alternate way that our senior citizens who may not, or will they come down and get assistance from you all to do it online, or can they fill out a paper application?
Well, I tell you what, can somebody put that flyer back up, the tarot card?
Okay.
Because they have the ability. I think the commission's done a great thing in partnering with these nonprofits So there are 5 nonprofits that the commission is partnered with, and those nonprofits will work with anyone that's elderly or anyone who has trouble accessing the internet. They can go, they will walk them through the process over the phone. They will help them get their documents uploaded. They're there to assist you. So it's not just for those folks who are digitally able, but if you have some kind of divide where you can't get on the internet, those nonprofits are there to walk you through, and they're awesome nonprofits. They're there to help you with your application.
Okay, that's good to
And even
know.
if you don't understand, and even if you just don't understand, there's a process where you may just get confused and don't understand. They can reach out to those nonprofits as well.
Right.
All right, that's good to know. And we'll put this up on our website as well and mention it tomorrow morning, because I know a lot of people will be probably calling and messaging us about this once it hits air, and even those that are on our live stream.
And that's at 8 o'clock, not midnight.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson.
8 o'clock.
8
8
a.m.
a.m. That's right.
Thursday morning. Okay, so what happens when the application is filled out, that person is approved? Does the money go straight into the account? Do you guys pay the landlord? How does all of that work?
Well, if you are selected at one of the random draws, you'll be contacted, and somebody will also contact your landlord. So I just want to I'm answering that question, but I want to interject something. The landlords can also go on this website tomorrow and they can register. Now, you can have a participant or an applicant can have anybody apply for them that they choose, as long as they have the applicant's permission. So a landlord can apply for an applicant, but they need to have their permission. But the landlord can go register. When you register, you'll be given a code that you will have. And once your tenant applies, there'll be a place for them to put that code in to link you. And that makes the process even faster if you're selected and once you submit your documents. Well, so you did ask the question, once you apply, if you're selected in the random draw, you'll be contacted and you'll need to supply the documents to support your income, your certifications, et cetera, which is all going to be laid out on the website. So once you apply, go ahead and look at that information, all those documents that are applicable, start gathering those documents. So if you're chosen and you're contacted, you can go ahead and you can upload those documents, you can text those documents, you can email those documents, or you can contact one of their nonprofits. They will help you submit those documents to the website.
So what's the link between the landlord filling it out, although they do have to get permission? How do you make sure that they do have permission to put in their tenant's information and make everything streamlined?
Well, there will be back-end checks. That initial application, they will contact the tenant directly. Okay. So there will be checks, but that landlord can't, but they do need to register. It just makes it simpler and easier for them when that tenant is selected and they are processed and they are approved. It streamlines the process for that landlord to get paid if they go on and register also.
Okay. And some of the things that the household will need: full name, date of birth, relationship to the head of household, things like that. So security number.
Mm-hmm. Social security number, if you have an alien registration number, individual taxpayer ID number, you want to make sure that you have your current physical address and your mailing address. You'll need to provide the income of each member of the household as their gross monthly income. That means before tax deductions or anything's taken out. You also need to include your landlord's name, email address, and mailing address, which again, there will be a link to help with that. And again, the landlord can register to make the process a little bit easier for them.
All right. Is there any reason that someone would be disqualified?
If you're above them, it's very objective. So if you, for some reason, are above the 80% AMI, you make more money, or you, for some reason, can't certify that you've had a COVID-related incident, those very basic things is laid out there. If you don't fit in that category, that would be the only reason that you wouldn't qualify.
Okay, so we're looking at the categories right here, which is the, it looks like the annual income, the limits there. It does need to be COVID related, right? So you have to prove that you're out of a job or you can't make ends meet because of COVID?
Well, actually, on the COVID, there's a certification that will be provided online. And if you can certify to that's sufficient, that you can certify to that. Now, there's some tiering for priority. And one of those is if you've been 90 days consecutively unemployed, if you can illustrate that. If you are below 50% of median income, you would go to the top. If you have one or the other, you would be in the second tier. And then the Louisiana I'm losing it right now, Commissioner Jackson. I named, but if you,
Corporation.
no, not that program. We'll get
Oh,
you.
emergency, Louisiana Emergency Rental Assistance, LREA.
Yes. If you're sitting there on that waiting list, I think they kind of stalled, then you would get priority there. And then the next thing would be anybody else that would apply. That'd be the last category. That would be priority.
All right. Great information about ERAP. Anything else, Mr. Collins, that you want to add that you think we should know, renters or landlords should know regarding this program? It opens again tomorrow at 8 in the morning.
Well, just everybody be prepared. And even if you apply, it's just gonna be a couple clicks. It's gonna seem really simple. That we don't want that to fool anybody. You're gonna have to prove up all the things that you assert. And so make sure that you're gathering documents ahead of time. Make sure that if you know in advance that you may have some issues with uploading documents, contact one of the nonprofits, start a relationship with them as soon as possible.
All right, great. Thank you so much for providing all of that information. Before we close out, I want to send it back over to Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, do we expect this money to go really quick? Do we expect these Wi-Fi lines to be flooded with people trying to apply for this assistance?
Dominique, I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell, but we'll know tomorrow if the floodgates will open. But I think with all the preparation that we've had with Mr. Collins and his team, with the community partners, with Dr. Wilson and his team, I think we're prepared. I'm confident that we're prepared, and any hitches that come up, we'll be prepared to address them pretty quickly. And so we know that another round of funding was also approved in the American Rescue Plan. So again, we want to encourage residents not to panic. You don't have to do anything desperate. At some point, help is on the way. It may take a while to process and verify, because we want to do the right thing with the funds that we're entrusted with. And so I'm confident that the team is ready, and they're excited to launch this program.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad that help is on the way for many of our friends here in Caddo Parish. Anything else that you'd like to add with your closing remarks, Commissioner?
Well, I do want to recognize Commissioner Roy Burrell, who has come in. He's a Caddo Parish Commissioner here in our area, former state representative. And just want to thank you again, Dominique. You mentioned the website. I put it up as my screen. That is caddo.covidrents.org. Is where you can go to start filling that information out. And there's a video of how to apply, the contact information for the partner nonprofits for anyone who may have a hard time navigating the website or may be technology challenged. The contact information for those nonprofits are there, and many other resources to help Caddo residents make this a smooth process for them. We know that a lot of people have experienced a lot of hardship during this particular time. And so we understand, and we want to make this process one that you can do with dignity, but one that you can also be proud of. I want to give that number, 226-6598, for anyone who will need to call if they have a problem, 318-226-6598. And I also want to thank the viewers who tuned in today to take their time to listen to this important information. Please feel free to share with individuals who may not be out and able to join in with us today, because it's important that they get this information and know that help is here for them.
Hey, Commissioner Jackson, I was just looking at some of the questions that were coming in.
Oh, sure. If you want to take a couple, I'm free.
Right. So someone on the parish website, Maryland, says, is this different from disaster assistance? So say someone's getting disaster assistance and they've applied in any other way, whatever disaster assistance is out there. We know there are different programs. Is it different? It is a different program.
It is. If they're talking about like DSNAP, things that were related to like tornadoes, floods, and the snow situation, this is different. Again, those rules and regulations, the FAQ, I would encourage them to really go read the FAQs that are posted online if they have access to it. And I believe, Jeff, those FAQs are up now, really. They can go and look at that information now before the website, the portal opens. And so, So it is different from the disaster assistance.
Okay, great. And then there was someone just asking about how to contact your representative. Your constituents are trying to find out how they can contact. Jeff answered that question by providing a link. So if you're looking for your particular commissioner in your district, click that link and it will take you to your particular district on there. So just a couple of information there. And I believe that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely thank you, Dominique, our outstanding, always ready to stand in moderator for everything. Thank you, Mr. Collins, for being a champion for not only public housing, but just affordable and housing in general here in Northwest Louisiana. And again, thank you to the Caddo commissioners, Commission President Lyndon Johnson, Parish Administrator Dr. Woodrow Wilson, and Assistant Administrator Erica Bryant. And can't forget our clerk, Jeff Everson, who has worked behind the scenes tirelessly, and Haley Barnett, who has worked behind the scenes tirelessly to get this program up and going. And we're excited and we're glad to help, and help is on the way. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and please share with your loved ones. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, y'all. Thank